हाँ ले लो ना, अभी वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, ले लो ना, तो ऐसे ही बस मुंह में लगा रहा हूँ, तो एक जैसे लेना, जैसे चेहरे पे कुछ अपना वो है बराबर से होगा। हाँ ऐसा करिए, सबका ऐसा ऐसा लेना है, ऐसा अरे आपके सभी अच्छे होते हैं। अरे एग्जैक्टली ऐसा होना चाहिए। क्योंकि आज ही रहे ना, फिर बाद में प्रॉब्लम। क्लियर कर लेते हैं, अदरवाइज उधर से ले लेंगे जरूर। ऐसे ही ना एग्जैक्ट बराबर से आज जब तक मतलब खत्म होने
तो वो चार्जर दे देंगे क्या, मैं ले लूँ।
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, this is more of an informal session only. So पांडव निर्जल एकादशी पे आप सभी लोगों ने जिन्होंने चैंटिंग दिन भर किया, तो प्लीज सभी को एनलाइटन करने के लिए encourage, empower everybody by sharing your realizations for a few minutes. So who do we go to? Get this started. Oh, somebody has to start. Come on. Okay.
हरे कृष्णा थोड़ा कुछ है बस बोल देते एक्चुअली इन द मॉर्निंग as soon as I woke up तब पानी नहीं पिया था that was like so उसके कारण very thirsty. I was feeling very thirsty. But when Maharaj Pro spoke that lecture about, he gave the example of Ajit Doval and he gave the example of another example, Abdul Kalam. They did not sleep for so many days. I was really inspired. I thought that maybe with some determination I should also stop this thirst, मतलब neglect this thirst. I was feeling very thirsty, but then I thought, कुछ भी हो जाए, कल सुबह तक wait करूंगा. So somehow after some day it was like I did not feel like it is Ekadasi. मतलब कुछ खाया भी नहीं, ऐसे नहीं कि कुछ खाया. Energetic and felt like chanting more. Hari Bol.
So don't have too much, but difficult. So Maharaj was telling the class that we do devotees, it is much easier. So I was seeing some devotees were so much. I heard Binu Prabhu chanted one. So seeing them, I was feeling maybe not so much, but I telling me that it's too difficult. But our equal devotees are doing so. It's simply my of humility and of struggle and all the determination and all that. And one thing which helped me was, as Maharashtra used to share in classes about Granthi, Bhakti Vinod Thakur writes that um, we can set certain number of rounds, say 4 rounds or 6 rounds or 8 rounds. Ki I will, till these many rounds are over, I'll not do anything else. And then we can take a small break after that. So I had set a 8 round Granthi that I'll do 8 rounds first, and sometimes mind becomes very tricky. So I had 8 granthis, so that became much easier. Um, yeah, that was my realization. And I also really conscious I am, and how much homework I have to do to reach the spell platform.
Standing for 20 hours, but I could not do because I was feeling so. It's very difficult to. It was the one point I remembered from the lecture of Maharaj. Even if we die today, there is no loss. So I was and initially 4 rounds it was like not so troublesome, but after that it was like really mind was you can ease out and these prayers helped a lot. Maharaj told that you can like pray after every round like that, offer your gratitude to Lord and uh, beg for offenseless chanting. So that also I was doing, so that was helping a lot. And initially I was feeling very sleepy, like for around 32 rounds. Till 32 rounds, I was very much feeling sleepy. So I was walking. After that, somehow sleep gone away, and I was able to chant very swiftly and nicely. Very good.
Hare, Hare Krishna. So I came here on Sunday. Before that, I was in Rajasthan. So there it was too hot, and some days back I fasted for Narsim Chaturdasi. So fasting was not so difficult, but I could not chant extra rounds. I chanted only 16 rounds on that days. But do and in the devotees association it's Dhupuru and Binu here. So whenever I used to feel that when we chant some rounds them and within and just rounds 4 rounds in the evening, I was thinking, did I really chant 64? And it was just number. And second by that Maharaj told that it is more of mental fasting. Fasting is mental fasting is more can be understood 2-3 days also. That capacity that something should be there in the evening at least. Sometimes we fast till evening only. Narasimha Chaturdashi or Purnima. And so yes, and I used to come in the temple hall to chant. And then in the association devotee, it became very easy. And some rounds I chanted in other devotee, it became very, very easy. Yes. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So I chanted 64 rounds. So, but the whole day passed. Means they throughout the day were sitting there and chanting, but I did not realize when the whole day passed. And the evening when I went downstairs to decide tomorrow's menu, and then I was doing book reading. And then when I looked at my watch, it was already 9 o'clock. So I felt it very nicely that how means in association means if you would have been outside, not in association, then even like they discuss too much about food and क्या खाएंगे कल क्या खाएंगे. My sister called me twice. कैसा है? खाया नहीं खाया कुछ खाया नहीं खाया. She also was doing Nirjala, so she called me twice or thrice. कि क्या है क्या नहीं. So means I could see that if we are not in association, how much we are bodily conscious. But when we are in association, we easily forget bodily demands and can absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness very.
So it will be a memorable day for me and realization. So I could think of 2 points. First is encouragement, like Maharaj Prabhu's class that was very encouraging. So to observe these days, which are actually difficult and for physically also and mentally also, if you are chanting 64 rounds or more than that, then your mind will give you trouble, and you are fasting, then your body will also give trouble. So encouragement is, I think, very, very essential. Directly we hear lectures, that is also, and among devotees, that is also one type of encouragement by saying. So without encouragement, it is impossible physically also, or very difficult, like, and if not impossible. So first thing is encouragement. In between, while I chanted a few rounds, then I was about to give up. Then Prabhu came. He told me that Prabhuji, let us make it a memorable day. We chant rounds in 3 digits at least. Just touch 3 digits today. I have chanted 64 rounds many times, but I have not gone to 3 digits. So I'm saying the encouragement part, saying devotee, and when you are about to give up, then somebody comes and encourages you. And in the beginning, class was there. In between, if you read something, So first, there's the essential thing. Second thing is we had like quality. So I'll say our mind is very subtle, and he knows which point to tell, to give up, how to convince. So if we just focus on quality, we chant like 32 rounds. If somebody is 30, 40 rounds, if he is very much focusing, he can chant qualitatively. It happened with me like 32, 35. Above that, how much you pray, whatever you remember, quote regarding chanting, it seems to be like mechanical, it doesn't go inter. So that time you have to be determined about quantity also. So these both things should go simultaneously. Okay, now forget about quality. At least then after 8 to 10 rounds again, you will get absorbed in that. But in between it was happening. Man was saying, "Oh, what is the use of these rounds? They are not so good. So why don't you give up and do some other activity? Get absorbed through kirtan or prayers like that." So both the thing, it was my realization should go there. Quality, but sometime we are not on that platform, so that some target should also be there. And of this encouragement, I'll say a few examples how this encouragement works. So uh, I told many my relatives and some other devotees who were outside, just to tell you should chant at least 64 like that. So many devotees did that. There was one army soldier. He is in Guwahati posted. So he was on duty, and he is a devotee from 3, 4 months or maybe 6 months. But in his lifetime, he was alone at home on duty also. He was working, but somehow he could observe Nirjala fasting, and he chanted 46 rounds. And I told my father and mother also, last year they chanted 64 also. But this time, after lecture, I called him, how many you are going to chant? He told, I have not taken leave. I have come to my work. So I'll try 64. I said, okay, here devotees chant at least 108. Many devotees chant 108. And some devotees chant 192. So next day I called, he ended up by chanting 80 rounds. So I'm saying this encouragement works. And one of my school friend, he has started chanting 16 rounds last week, and he also could observe Ekadasi. He chanted 54 rounds. So this was a really memorable day for me. So by devotees mercy, I could also get benefit, and I could see how this Vani and how blessings and this chanting. So my friend he was saying that, oh, ये महामंत्र में तो बहुत शक्ति है, मुझे तो आज भूख प्यास लगी नहीं रही है. So Haribol, thank you very much. It could happen by mercy of all devotees only. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yeah, really, Shiva was offering you an inspiration.
Hare Krishna. So on Ekadasi, I took a goal of chanting 50 rounds, and since I already took a goal of chanting 50 rounds, so in between mind was not troubling. For example, generally when we start chanting, it says what we are going to do after chanting. But since the goal was too large, so mind was a bit peaceful, and it was good chanting, and it was very inspiring to see Maharaj Prabhu, Binu Prabhu, Pranjal Prabhu, and View Prabhu chanting. And I used to take inspiration from them while chanting, and thus I could complete my rounds very well.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Bro, actually, I could only understand that I am a very sincere and obedient servant of my mind. And I was completely trembling in fear, thinking about how one can sit at a place and chant whole day. It is impossible for me. So I just left. But now at least hearing from all these devotees, I can understand that challenge of mind is not unique to me. It is there for everybody. And by seeing their examples, we can take inspiration. And I can try something better next year. Hari Bol.
Hare conveyor fuel depends on the type of fuel which is powering the vehicle. So in past also so many Ekadashis or other things we do. But the motivation in this Nirjala Ekadashi was totally different. Like in the beginning of morning class, Maharaj Pro emphasized that purpose of festival is to please Krishna. And even if we are not Trinadapi Mahaprabhu is very mercifully giving us chance rounds, but it will be very helpful in future also every and purpose to it. There was a association of so many sincere devotees, and throughout the day there were so many devotees, Gopal Pro, Vivu Pro, Bino Pro, they were just, even though victory, Haribu.
Hare Krishna. So this Ekadasi was very memorable, and first time I could do this much round, so it was very special. So in beginning, one mistake I made is that I didn't make a plan to do more rounds. I just thought that 64 is okay for me. So I just started with that thought, and I thought that अगर 64 के बाद और भी समय हो पाएगा तो और कर लेंगे. But the really inspiring part was that all the devotees were chanting so nicely. Especially Maharaj Prabhu was sitting just after Bhagavatam class 9 to 10, directly 11 or 12 hours together, sitting at one place and Binu Pro, Pranjal Pro also. Although Pranjal, it was very wonderful to see his 12 p.m.
So it was a very wonderful that we able after doing initial phase was that 16 माला जब सुबह हो गया था उसके बाद जो है 16 to it was more struggle than 16 round previous before and more sleep comes, but after 32 it becomes little bit easy to chant, and after 48 after like 48 50 it's like mind is you can capture the mind, but now you don't have strength so much to capture it and bring it to the thought of holy. मैं ऐसे लगा कि मतलब अभी मैं कर सकता हूँ कि हरिनाम सुन सकता हूँ, लेकिन अभी उतनी शक्ति ही नहीं थी, ऐसा लगता था. तो मतलब उतना स्ट्रगल नहीं रह जाता. So after doing 64, I thought I saw everyone and everyone so enthusiastically chanting the holy name. So I thought, let us do one more Granthi. So, so 116 rounds. So it came up to 80, and after that, तो उस दिन मेरी थोड़ा तबीयत भी सही नहीं थी एक्चुअली, हेल्थ का भी कुछ इशू था, तो मैंने ऐसे ही सोचा था इतना ही कर, लेकिन 7 बज गए थे उस समय 64 आने तक. तो उसके बाद जो है फिर मैंने कहा, the mind said that why are you showing off so much? Now just put it, hear some lecture and get absorbed in that, because you are not able to chant nicely. So I thought, yes, that is good, 80 is enough. And very inspiring part, Prabhu told that we should not endeavor too much about speed. And I have the habit of increasing my speed and not doing good rounds. So, but that helped me that I doesn't too much increase my round. It was 2 hours 16 mala. So that was okay. So after that, I heard some lecture. Uske baad Suraj Prabhu was sitting and he asked that how much round you did. So in humility, I said that no, I have. It is not necessary to tell how much round we do. So मैं प्रभु का जानता था कि प्रभु का 80 राउंड हुआ है. So I said that same as you. तो मैंने कहा कि चलिए प्रभु कुछ बड़ा आज 3 डिजिट में नंबर पहुंचा तो ठीक है. सूरज प्रभु सोचे, लेकिन उसके बाद कह नहीं मैं लेक्चर हियरिंग करता हूँ. तो मैंने भी वो थॉट गिव अप कर दिया, ठीक है कोई है नहीं तो कम भी नहीं करें. तो मैं भी अपना सब सोने की स्थिति में आ गया, गमछा वगैरह पहन लिए. उसके बाद सूरज प्रभु आए कि नहीं अगले निर्जल में हम कहाँ आप कहाँ, चलो कर लेते हैं 3 डिजिट. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है कर लेते हैं. तो हम लोग ऊपर गए छत पे, चैंटिंग के महाराज प्रभु चैंटिंग कर रहे थे, तो हमें वहाँ इंस्पिरेशन मिला, हम लोग ऊपर गए तो और चैंटिंग स्टार्ट की. फिर प्रांजल प्रभु और बीनू प्रभु नीचे जब कर रहे थे, तो हम कॉन्फ्रेंस रूम में गए, वहां जब करने लगे. और बीनू प्रभु से पूछे प्रभु का आपका कितना माला हुआ, तो बोला 122. तो मैं कहा तो 100 तो कर ही लेंगे हम. तो फिर उसके बाद तो फिर बीनू प्रभु भी चले गए, प्रांजल प्रभु भी चले गए. फिर हम लोग 12:15 तक लगभग हम दोनों के राउंड कंप्लीट हुए. फिर मेरे को ये भी याद आया कल मेरा डीटी वर्षिप थी. तो फिर खैर भगवान कृपा से इतना दिक्कत नहीं हुआ. तो ये बहुत ही अच्छा है मेरे लिए, तो बहुत ही मेमोरेबल डे रहा. और उसके बाद एक चीज जो कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशन मुझे मिला, डिवोटीज के प्रति बहुत रेस्पेक्ट बढ़ा, क्योंकि ईगो के कारण मैं अपने आप को बहुत महान समझता हूँ. तो मैंने देखा बीनू प्रभु, प्रांजल प्रभु, स्पेशली महाराज प्रभु, मतलब महाराज प्रभु का पीठ का भी प्रॉब्लम है और इतना एज हो रहा है. तो मैंने देखा महाराज प्रभु 9 to 11 डायरेक्ट 9 to 11 चैंटिंग किए बैठ के एक ही जगह. तो इससे बहुत इंकरेजमेंट मिला. और एक चीज जो बहुत समझ में आई कि अगर हम गोल बड़ा रखते हैं, तो इफ वी start chasing rhinos, we get something at least. So next time I will take care of this and keep a good number of rounds to chant. And also it was very wonderful to see Maharaj Prabhu after each round doing prayers to Gaunitai. So I also did that, and that helped me little bit. So thank you all of you for your association, all the devotees who chanted here, and gave the inspiration for me, because without that it was very like impossible to chant 100 rounds. So I was and one more one just a little crux here, that जब हम लोग चैंटिंग करने गए तो घर से मदर का फोन आया, तो उन्होंने कहा अरे देखो विभू, यहाँ पे तुम्हारी दीदी भी निर्जल रह रही है, कुछ खा नहीं रही है, क्या कर रही है? तो बोली तुम क्या कर रहे हो? तो मैं बोला कि मैं भी निर्जल हूँ। तो बोले तुम लोग क्या कर रहे हो? खूब डांट लगाई, पर मैंने समझाया कि नहीं नहीं, हम तो नहीं तोड़ने वाले। तो तो मैं भी किया और घर पे दीदी भी कर पाई, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा। So thank you all of you, or especially to Gaurnitai for helping me to do this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So everyone is telling their experience, that how chanting takes us, at least for that point of time, have a bodily platform. So I remember one event in my life. Once I was going to Mumbai from my home, Parasnath station to Mumbai. And you might have observed Mumbai, Howrah, or Howrah Mumbai mail reaches there 3 o'clock in the morning. And I had my ticket in sleeper class, and it was January, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I got up and took bath and then went inside the train. Train came. And when I went inside, I saw that practically everyone was awake, 3 o'clock in the night. Can you guess the reason? It was so cold. सब लोग कम्बल अम्बल ओढ़ के बैठे हैं, किसी को नींद नहीं आ रहा है. It is so cold. And I just went inside, found out my seat, and because that was the time to start the chanting, so I started my chanting. And it went for almost 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And after my chanting got over, practically he was sitting only, elderly person. So he told, अरे आपका chanting में तो बड़ा शक्ति है. बोले क्यों? आपको ठंडा ही नहीं लग रहा है? 2.5 घंटा से आप जप किए जा रहे हैं, यहाँ तो सब लोग परेशान हो रहे हैं. And I was also very new that time. It is in 2004-5. So I also got little proud. Yes, really. First time chanting is working. And after my chanting got over, my situation also became like him only. I started feeling cold and so many other things. So chanting really works, but till that time, absorbed in chanting, or at least try to chant sincerely, at least till that point of time, we come above bodily platform. And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, his story is there, that once he told, tomorrow we'll have a great feast. And all the disciples, they became very happy. Disciples mean followers. Obviously, he did not have any disciple. And so many followers, they came expecting that there will be a big feast and festival like that. And he started chanting, and all these people, they also started chanting. Somebody chanted 16, and then waiting, where is kitchen? There is no movement, nothing is happening. And then somebody chanted 25, 32. Like that, after 4 or 5 hours, someone goes and asks him, Guru Maharaj, we don't see that any arrangement has been made for the festival. Then he says, this is festival. chanting of the holy name in itself, this is the festival. So actually, on Nirjala Ekadasi, this time I could get that feeling that really chanting of the holy name is a festival. And this can be enjoyed only in unison, even watermelon. And it was a very nice experience. Everyone chanting. I could not chant a 3-digit, but it was close, not too less, because I was focusing more on chanting rather than the speed. And it's good to chant more, but eventually, earlier also, it's not that first time I chanted 64 or more round, but focus becomes primarily how to complete my assigned number of rounds. I want to chant 100 or more, something like that. But eventually, Krishna is concerned about our quality. And this time I felt I could put a reasonable amount of my effort in trying to hear the holy name. And maybe that's the reason it was really nourishing. Many a time after doing 64, it becomes little exhaustion that all energy has gone away. But this time, after chanting 64 or more, I felt really that chanting, I got a glimpse actually, not the full experience, that what actually it means that chanting Krishna. And thank you everyone for your support and enthusiasm. And I liked Vibhu Prabhu's comment. Next year, kahan rahenge pata nahi. So I remember that song. बस आज की रात है जिंदगी कल हम कहाँ तुम कहाँ. So this is spiritual application of that part. आज की रात सौ कर लो अगले साल कोरोना में भी रहे कि नहीं वो भी गारंटी नहीं है. हरी वो
Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving this. Bhagavad Maharaj did Navamrit seminar in our temple. And he mentioned he travels all over the world and does various seminars. And it is for this reason he has not accepted disciples. He says there are so many devotees who need care, training. And if I have disciples, how will I train devotees? So that's very appreciable about Maharaj. So Maharaj, on the 4th day of Navamrit seminar, makes everyone chant 64 rounds and then asks them to write their experience. So Maharaj was telling that one time, one devotee phoned Maharaj. He found that paper, he came back to Krishna consciousness and again resumed his Krishna consciousness. Should write this down with valuable spiritual experiences. It is said material pleasure is in vision, but not in vision. It is in experience. So we should write that down. It's a very important point. Okay, and I will again reverberate what other devotees have spoken already. First of all, thankful to Vrindavan Chari Bro because he gave me service right in the beginning. Because all of you are so sincere that Krishna put the right words in my mouth, and it was not my. It's not credit to me, but it's because of your sincerity. Krishna put the right words, and inspired me to speak something for everyone's benefit. First of all, that. And then second, your company also enabled me to chant so many rounds. When this was the most pleasing, most comfortable, most pleasing Nirjala Ekadasi that I have ever observed in my life. I had spoken big words sitting on this chair, and when I started chanting, I was dozing off. After chanting 16 rounds, I was dozing off. And then I was thinking, I've spoken such high philosophy to devotees, and they're watching me. My process of chanting is endothermic. It requires so much said. After 32, it becomes exothermic. It gives you inspiration further. So it was first endothermic, then exothermic. And after 9 o'clock, when I got up from here, I was thinking that devotees would sleep, devotees would take rest, and they were not in the position. So therefore, I voluntarily got up and went upstairs to chant. But when I was climbing upstairs, my body was very tired. My body has its own limitation, so I was unable to chant. So body se ladai karna hai. See, mind was still cooperating, chanting was still exothermic, but body was not unable to cooperate. I was unable to walk, unable to stand, and unable to sit. So I struggled for 2 hours with Hatha Yoga, and 11 o'clock, as devotee said, I went to sleep. So this was a very wonderful experience, and therefore Shastra say sadhu sangha sarva shastra koy, love matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi. Actually, in Kali Yuga, Krishna consciousness means sadhu sangha. In Kali Yuga, Krishna means sadhu sangha. Krishna comes as association of devotees. Otherwise, it's not possible. Where is determination of Kali Yuga Vasis? Where are their minds and senses? So difficult. I mean, we are able to relish Krishna consciousness happily practicing because there are so many devotees, inspiring examples. Else, it would have not been possible. And we can also, we did this experiment. We in Kartik Yatra, we go to different holy places with devotees, doing kirtan, and Radha Gopinath Prabhu, Gaurang Prabhu, giving lectures. So it's so inspiring. Same places that we visit otherwise alone doesn't affect us so much spiritually. And you go to Yogpit alone, you offer obeisances, offer prayers, come back, and there is not so much what to say, retentivity of that experience. But when we go with devotees, it has very profound affection. This Nirjala Ekadashi made an impression. Association of devotees, we can't do even little things. What to speak of Nirjala Ekadashi? So we are entirely, utterly dependent on association of devotees. So each one of you are contributing to that association factor. I am grateful to all of you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
More extra rounds. Nothing to speak. I didn't do extra rounds. Actually, I mean, frankly, because I think this was my first experience also. In Ekadashi पे ऐसा कभी extra rounds वाला मैंने wherever I was or whatever we have not. So this is a nice culture actually. So again, maybe example of Sadhu Sangha, that next hearing all of this, because when I heard that everybody was doing like that, so yeah, this is a nice culture to follow. So maybe from next time onwards, we'll try to do that. For me, it was a regular day. Maybe I will share when Ankit Prabhu was asking me, or he was not exactly asking me, but discussion rather at 9 in the night. That because later on I figured, oh, everybody is doing extra rounds, or so many extra rounds. So I didn't even dare enter the room. I said, my God, it's special chal raha hai. But for me, it was a regular day. I was working. Then Ankit asked me, or we were discussing how many rounds. So I thought I will say smart, so he realized it was 19. So such strong memories and of the holy name. I think we have a few more we can share.
Next day, I was talking to my mother. So my mother informed me that my brother also did Nirjala. So the day before Nirjala, I was talking with my brother and I was asking him, "Are you prepared for Nirjala Ekadashi?" बोला नहीं, मुझे ऑफिस जाना है. He is a working man, works a job. तो मुझे ऑफिस जाना है, मैं तो नहीं कर पाऊंगा. ठीक है, at least observe Ekadashi, try to avoid at least food, take just water. But he observed Nirjala Ekadashi.
Rounds, then for that now devotees association is much more needed.
Hare Krishna. It's a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Gaye Gora Chand Jivera Tori. देखिए आप लोग मिला गाय गौरा चांद जीवेरा तारे नहीं मिला तो इसका फोटो खींच के सबको भेज दो है ना